Did Biden fulfill the 2020 campaign promises he made? President Biden seeks 4 more years in office based on his performance in 2020 promises, including pandemic defeat, economic revival, voting rights, abortion protection, and reestablishing America's global standing. Fighting COVID-19. Biden pledged to take immediate action if he was elected as U.S. president, stating they would defeat COVID and ensure a successful management of the infection. Biden's first day in office focused on mass vaccination and economic recovery, reducing COVID-19 through treatments. May end, low deaths, but the inability to eradicate the virus remains a threat. Rebuilding the economy. Biden pledged to invest in infrastructure, clean energy, and manufacturing to create millions of jobs and restore the job market to full employment. With the help of COVID-19 aid, as well as large investments in infrastructure and manufacturing, Biden oversaw a swift economic recovery. The unemployment rate is near 50-year lows, and wages are rising. However, high inflation in 2022 impacted the recovery, leading to debates about the administration's stimulus efforts. Cost-cutting initiatives have been implemented, putting an end to gun violence. Biden pledged to remove AR-15 weapons from the streets and communities, stating that no one needs them. Biden's gun safety legislation, the most comprehensive in 3 decades, made limited improvements to background checks and did not restrict access to assault weapons. Despite his promise to ban these weapons, he has not taken decisive action. The White House has issued executive orders, but Biden admits he is powerless on gun violence. Regaining American leadership overseas. Biden pledged to restore democracy as the U.S. foreign policy, aiming to rally the free world and face new challenges together. The Biden administration's withdrawal from Afghanistan angered allies and damaged global credibility. After Russia invaded Ukraine, Biden formed a global coalition to provide aid and rebuild America's diplomatic reputation. However, the war continues with no clear endgame, and Biden must repair damage caused by a classified document leak revealing spying efforts and Ukraine war concerns. Enhancing voting rights. Biden promised to reinstate the Voting Rights Act if the Senate and President don't act, ensuring the fundamental right to vote isn't violated. Joe Biden's 2020 campaign focused on voting rights, but despite signing the Elections Act and promoting the issue in his 2024 campaign, he has not made significant progress. Despite his efforts, Biden's 2024 campaign seems to be focused on achieving his original promise. Defending the right to an abortion. Biden pledged to codify Roe v. Wade as defined by Casey, stating that if the Supreme Court makes a controversial judgment, he will codify it in exchange. The Supreme Court's decision to strike down the constitutional right to abortion has sparked concerns among Democrats. President Biden has advocated for codifying Roe v. Wade, but lacks the votes. The White House has addressed family planning funding restrictions, protected medication abortion access, and defended against lawsuits aimed at restricting reproductive health access. Expanding healthcare facilities. Biden pledged to restore Obamacare, increase subsidies, lower premiums, deductibles, out-of-pocket expenses, surprise billing, and prescription drugs by 60%. Biden's Inflation Reduction Act expanded Obamacare subsidies and imposed new pharmaceutical price restrictions, though it didn't meet his goals. However, it empowered Medicare to negotiate drug costs, making coverage more affordable and accessible for millions of people. Modifying the immigration rules. Biden pledged to restore the world's moral standing and historic role as a haven for refugees, asylum seekers, and those fleeing violence and persecution. Biden's administration has maintained a strict Trump-era border policy, Title 42, allowing quick immigration expulsion at the U.S.-Mexico border. Although the administration plans to lift Title 42 next month, there are few signs of a significant change in immigration policies. Biden has encouraged Congress to negotiate comprehensive legislation to overhaul the immigration system. Resolving the issue of climate change. Biden pledged to create jobs, invest in climate change mitigation, and achieve net zero emissions by 2050 within his first 4 years as president. Biden is implementing climate goals through investments in the IRA, aiming to cut U.S. greenhouse gas emissions by up to 42% by the end of the decade. He also plans to impose regulatory changes to cut total emissions in half by 2030. However, he faces questions about balancing climate ambitions with ongoing fossil fuel projects, including the Willow Oil and Gas project in Alaska. Increasing opportunities for child and elder care. Biden pledged a straightforward childcare plan, providing free, high-quality preschool for 3- and 4-year-olds, and limiting low- and middle-income families to spend no more than 7% of their income on childcare. The president's Care Economy Plan, once a key component of his post-2020 economic vision, was abandoned due to IRA negotiations and cost concerns. Biden's support for revisiting healthcare policies has not been significant in a divided Congress. Instead, he signed executive orders directing federal agencies to improve accessibility. Thank you for watching.